YouTuber Nick Shirley testified before the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Federal Government Surveillance on Wednesday, detailing what he says is massive welfare fraud involving federally funded daycares in Minnesota.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. And we, the people, have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal.
Shirley says his independent investigation exposed daycare centers receiving millions in government subsidies, despite having no children present.
In one building, there was, I believe, 3 daycares, and there was no children, and they were all receiving CCAP funding.
His findings, viewed by millions online, prompted federal scrutiny and were later supported by testimony from a former Minnesota fraud investigator, Scott Dexter, who described fake attendance records and systematic overbilling. Dexter also testified that millions of dollars were being flown out of the country.
Through collaboration with federal agencies, including the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, Homeland Security, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, we learned that millions of dollars in cash from the Somali community was being flown out of the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport by Somali couriers. At one point, nearly $70 million had been documented leaving the country halfway through a single year. Although we could not prove that the cash was obtained fraudulently, we strongly suspected that it was.
Following Shirley's reporting, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services froze more than $185 million in federal child care funds tied to Minnesota.
And to this day, not a single business has been able to prove proof of legitimacy.
Shirley also criticized Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, accusing state leadership of ignoring the fraud while attacking those who spoke out.
And meanwhile, while people like Governor Tim Walz call people like me a white supremacist, delusional conspiracy theorist, he actually decided to drop out of re-election because, I believe, of how deep and extensive this fraud is.
The funding freeze is hitting legitimate daycare providers hard, but Shirley and the witnesses say the problem at large is organized fraud and a lack of proper oversight. For full testimony and complete hearing footage, tag Back to the National Desk YouTube channel.